How long is this accident case going to take? Can we speed it up? Why is this taking so long? Do we even want to speed it up? We're going to talk about this and more on this week's Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody out there in Elkton, Cecil County, the state of Maryland, and beyond. It's your accident and injury guy, Jobeth Bowers, coming at you with what is likely one of the most common questions that we get from clients. And we get this question at all parts of the process, some from the very beginning, some as we get near the end, and really all parts in between. Why do these cases take as long as they do? What are the factors? Can we speed it up? Do we even want to speed up this process? But first, I want to talk about not only a featured business, which I've been doing here for the past, month or so, 2 months, where I feature different businesses. Sometimes we offer discounts. This is a really cool event. This is for some of you that do or do not know, I am one of the coordinators of the local Elkton Magic organization, where we are part of bringing in high quality magic, mind reader, hypnotist, just mystery entertainers here, usually once a month to Elkton, Cecil County, the surrounding areas. We've got a really, really cool one coming up that I want to talk about. And if we get enough people here in today's live stream, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to this show. This is crazy. This is amazing. This is a big get. It's really a big deal. This show coming in March is called The Jokers of Magic. It features a handful of performers who are just fantastic. I mean, you've got guys who are doing college tours, headlining in Las Vegas, cruise ships. They've all, I believe, everybody on this thing has been on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. Many have been on America's Got Talent. In fact, Eric Diddleman, who's here on this one, it was, I believe, Howard Stern's favorite mind reader to ever be on America's Got Talent. Some really, really amazing talent coming here. They're doing a tour. Elkton is part of that tour. March 15th, this show is actually going to be at Elkton High School. Tickets are available and will be available at elktonmagic.com. And again, please comment, say something, good morning, Lori, in the comments here, because if we can get 5 or more people here, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to this show, absolutely free. Good morning, Ted. We got 2. That's wonderful. But today's topic, the timeline when it comes to resolving these accident cases. I get this question all the time, as I mentioned, from clients at all points in the process. It is, if you go online and you're searching for comments and things about how long these cases take, you will get all sorts of different answers. And there are a few things that are super important to understand when it comes to how long these cases take. First and foremost, there is no universal rule. No 2 claims are identical. No 2 claims are exactly the same. And that is like the number one reason why I can't give you a definitive timeline, but I can tell you factors that go into contributing to that timeline. First and foremost, the length of medical care that somebody receives as a result of this accident typically sets the starting point for when somebody should actually be clocking, hey, how long does this take? Here's what I mean by that. We're injury lawyers. We get our clients paid for the injuries that they sustain in an automobile accident. How do we know what injuries they sustain in an automobile accident? Well, we start, the baseline is taking a look at the medical care that they receive as a result of the accident. And again, this isn't all medical care, it's just the medical care that's related to the accident. Typically, what we see, an ambulance ride to the ER, probably some x-rays, maybe a CT scan, eventually possibly an MRI, primary care doctors, physical therapy. Some of these cases involve surgeons. Some of them, the surgeon says, hey, let's give you some injections. That's probably going to alleviate a lot of your pain. We don't necessarily think that you're a great candidate for surgery. And sometimes people are candidates for surgery. It really varies based on every single person. In fact, we have handled, I can't even tell you how many cases over the years with multiple people in the exact same accident needing completely different care to get better. Age can be a factor. Pre-existing medical condition can be a factor. Just the general susceptibility to an injury. Imagine two people in a vehicle involved in an accident. One of them is, let's say, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts and an 80-year-old grandfather in the same accident. You can probably imagine fairly easily one of these two people physically can handle a hit more than the other. Probably a minor auto accident is going to impact somebody like that 80-year-old grandfather far more than our Super Bowl MVP who's used to taking hits. So their medical care may be quite different. They're in totally different physical conditions. In fact, one of the great things about being active physically, going to the gym regularly, is that your body is more in tune to healing itself and less susceptible to injury than somebody who is likely, and again, I'm not going to prejudge our 80-year-old grandfather here, but likely less active than somebody like your Super Bowl MVP. So their course of care may be totally different. But the important thing, because we're talking about the time frame today, is that our process with respect to the quote, how long does this take, really doesn't start, or at least it's not fair to hit that stopwatch on how long does this take until the client / patient is finished with all of their medical care. In most cases, it would be inappropriate for an insurance company or an attorney to try to resolve somebody's claim while they're still getting medical care. Otherwise, are we really making sure that we're getting all of the compensation that you're due? There are exceptions to this rule, but again, I could sit here and give you 1,000 different scenarios. That would be a waste of your time. We will go over any of these with you at my office if you are a client of ours, because every situation is a little bit different. And we tailor all of our representation to the individual and their situation. So that's one of the timeframes that we wait for. And then, just so that you understand this process, throughout the time frame, we are collecting medical bills, we are collecting records, we are checking in with our clients to find out what things in their day-to-day life impact them. Because when you're injured and you can't go to work, if there's a period of time, or even if you just have pain, you're gonna experience a period of time in which you can't necessarily do everything that you've always done. Some of these are work related. Some of these are just fun hobbies. It's probably a little easier for you to, I don't know, if your hobby is showing up to a magic show and a comedy show like the Jokers of Magic, or are you a handy person and that's kind of something that you do for fun, not just to make side money, but it's something that's a release. It's something that you do if it's more physical. Even gardening, these might be things. We've had clients that have had issues where they used to always go on long motorcycle rides. Can't do that anymore. Fishing, camping, hiking, all of these things that might be normal evening, weekend, recreational time activities caring for children, caring for grandchildren. All of these are a factor that we'll talk to our clients about throughout the process. They all go into us putting this together. We send it out to the insurance company, and then we wait for them to make an offer. Some of these insurance companies, as we've talked about time and time again on this podcast, better than others. Some of them start making great offers. Some of them start making really, really lowball offers a lot of times, and why it's so important that you hire somebody who's experienced in handling these cases in this area day in and day out is that we've kind of developed a playbook for most of these insurance companies. Sure, there are obscure ones that we don't see all the time, so we may not have the complete playbook on every insurance company, but the ones that we deal with all the time, State Farm, Geico, Progressive, Allstate, Nationwide, we see them day in and day out. We know how they operate. We know how to handle the case with this insurance company versus that insurance company, and they're not all the same. But what other timeframes matter? Well, if they make a bad offer, we may end up having to initiate a lawsuit. That takes a little bit more time. Obviously, back in 2020, with the court shutdowns and everything else that got shut down during the COVID-19 lockdowns, that added extended time to these cases. In fact, some of these cases that got halted because of that time frame, they're very few, but some of them are still lingering here in my office and many, many other offices, because some insurance companies at that point in time said, hey, we're going to dig our heels in. We don't care if it creates a backlog for us. We're going to fight. And some insurance companies said, hey, we want to get these off our books. Let's get rid of them now. So insurance companies went two different paths. Some of them made these cases go longer than others. But most of those should be coming to a head for clients in those situations. Again, super unique. Hopefully it doesn't happen for another 100, 200, well beyond our lifetimes. Hopefully we never see anything like that again. But what other time frames? Well, one of the things that I will tell my clients that's super important is that time ends up being a little bit of a weapon in some of these cases. Insurance companies traditionally, and again, this doesn't apply to all of them, but traditionally will try to wait you out because they've got the money. They're the ones offering the money. We're negotiating on your behalf. We're filing suit, sometimes pushing it forward in the court system. But some of these insurance companies, part of their playbook is to delay these as long as possible, hoping that the injured person is eventually going to want the money, need the money, be desperate for the money, and say, hey, I give up, pay me what you can pay me. They save money delaying these things to the point that somebody might take less than what the case is actually worth. Part of our protocol here in the office is to advise our client, guide our client, hey, this is the trade-off. We're going to push it this much further. It might take that amount of time, but you're looking to get X amount of extra dollars as a result of doing it. Ultimately, our clients are the decision makers in that situation. You're going to be given all the facts. Hey, if we wait another 6 months, I might get you another $5,000 in your pocket. Is that worth it to you? Well, for some clients, they're going to say yes. For other clients, they might say no. Understand that the choice is yours. My office works for you if you're a client of ours. So understand that you're going to get all of that education. You're going to get, when you're a client of ours, the guidance in the playbook that's specific to the insurance company that we're dealing with. There are hundreds of insurance companies. So I can't do a podcast episode here publicly displaying all of the playbooks for every insurance company, nor would I want to. Because if they know that we're adept to their secrets, they're going to start changing. It's just like in a sporting event. If you think the other team has your playbook, you're going to change the playbook. So that's one of the big common factors. But one of the things that I tell my clients, and it's super important, and this is, I don't want to say completely unique to my office, but I can say for certain that not every law office focuses on this. And that is the peace of mind element. I want my clients at the end of the day to have peace of mind that everything related to their accident case is sorted out. All of their medical bills are paid. anything that they owe anybody related to this accident case, including, of course, their attorney's fees, which aren't paid till the very end. All of that is handled. So when a client leaves my office with a check, they know that that money is theirs. And unless they hid some medical care, which we work diligently to make sure that we are aware of every doctor, every client of ours has ever seen related to the accident, there should be no surprises, no unpaid bills down the line. And if there are, it's because of an error on that medical company or their billing company. And we've addressed that in another episode of how we can remedy that for our clients, typically with no out-of-pocket expense there. A lot of times it results in them getting an extra check. So speed it up. Do we want to speed it up? A lot of times, no. But in some specific scenarios, it may be beneficial. All depends on insurance and whether or not we're in a situation to put our client in the best position possible long term and have everything maximized for our client, which is something that's super important to us. What are some things that you can do to make sure that the process goes easily? Number one, call us sooner rather than later. The phone number's at the bottom, email's at the top. If we have the ability to take control of this case and all of the billing and who goes what and where from day one, it can mean an extra 5, 10, sometimes even more thousands of dollars in our client's pocket at the end. Again, still very case by case, a lot of different factors that go into that. But if we have the ability to run the entire show, if we are the quarterback, we will be the MVP for our client 99 out of 100 times, if not 999 out of 1,000 times. The more that we can control in the process, the better that it is. Do you want it done right, or do you want it done right now? That is the theme when it comes to the time frame on these accident cases. Can we speed up the process for you? In many instances, yes, we can. Do you want us to speed up the process for you? In most instances, you don't, because it's going to yield you more money. And a lot of times, the slowing down of the process is only a few extra weeks, sometimes a few extra months, but the gains can be substantial. And the money that you're getting, as we've talked about before, in your accident case is not taxable. And there are very, very few opportunities, as we all know, to get money without having to pay some sort of tax on it. It's not going to stop you from having to pay taxes when you spend that money. But that's a different story for a different day. We're not here to talk about any of that. So the tips are: contact us early. Contact us with as much information as you possibly can. Let us run that show. The medical care is a big anchor to the time frame on these cases, but ultimately every insurance company has a little bit of a different playbook. We are in tune with most of the ones that matter, and we know how to handle the ones that we don't have a precise playlist on, or playbook rather. So we're going to put you in the best position possible. And obviously there are X factors with these, where people that are hurt more severely, sometimes those cases take a bit longer because the medical care takes longer, especially if there's substantial and adequate insurance. We can't get these things quickly moved in bigger situations. So make sure you're checking out your own insurance policy. Feel free to contact us to take a free look at it. We'd love to do it, and we charge you absolutely nothing to do so. That's all the time we got for now. It looks like we only got a couple people here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll these names from this week into next week. Tell a friend, share this thing, and we'll give away these tickets next week. Hopefully we can get a bigger batch of people. Again, adding this week's into next week's. Tell a friend. Let's get some more people tuned in and subscribed here. But in the meantime, if you've got questions that are law related, shoot us an email. Make sure you mention that you want them discussed on the podcast so that we can cover that topic here. If it is not auto accident or injury related, I'll bring somebody in that's well-versed in that category. You've seen me do it with expungements. You've seen me do it with employment law, with different types of injury law, with estate planning, you name it. If it's not my expertise, I will bring somebody in that handles that and we'll get you taken care of. So everybody be safe out there, be well. Go visit elktonmagic.com. Grab tickets to that upcoming show. There's actually 2 shows there, but that Jokers of Magic show is going to be amazing, amazing, and hilarious. Tons of talent on that lineup. You won't want to miss it. And we're doing it at Elkton High School, which has a big auditorium. So there's a ton of seats. It's going to be a great time. Again, elktonmagic.com. Thanks all for tuning in. We will see you next Monday with more great information. Hopefully you never need us, but give us a call if you do. Be well. Be